This is a compilation of all my shorts talking about the designs from Fortnite's Greek mythology season. If you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Sai Sayamura, a writer and character designer who loves to talk. If a design is missing, then I either felt like it was good and didn't need to be talked about, or I just kinda didn't feel like it, to be honest, I'm sorry. But to get into it, we are starting with Ares, the Greek god of war, is the first of the Greek myth skins to be looked at, looking in my opinion better than his appearance in the God of War series, but slightly behind his design in the Hades series. Going into the war god's design, he sports dark armor highlighted with gold trimming and a maroon cloth spread throughout the design. His armor has visible damage, albeit a bit hard to see, but it's still there, with gold chains adorning his wrist armor, with him standing ready for what seems like another battle, with the crest of his helmet on fire to invoke not only the flames of war, but showing that he's a big deal among others, as the crest of a soldier's helmet helps show and indicate their leaders and those of a higher rank. And Ares' crest being on fire, you look at him knowing that he's a big deal. Although his helmet seems more built like the style of a medieval helmet with how minimal it is, considering the concept version has a more Greek-styled helmet, with the concept art pointing out another thing about Ares' design, that being the color palette of the armor. You see, Ares' skin color is this almost jet black, and the concept art takes this into mind, balancing it out by making the primary color of the armor gold. However, in the final design they change it to black, making it hard to tell in some places whether it's armor or his skin, making you double take and think that he may be sporting too much armor to this battle. With all this in mind, I say that the design of this iteration of the God of War is good, but missed the mark slightly just in some places. I'm pretty neutral about Medusa's design as a whole. I like the legend around her, the depictions of her throughout media, and her design here is no exception. She has a very pretty dress that has scale-like patterns with a white and prismatic blue color, with white pants and very pretty black high-heel boots with gold details like golden snakes lining the top. And her signature snake hair is here, of course, featuring a black and blue color scheme with each snake having eye-catching glowing blue eyes, with her hair having a unique style, sporting a buzz cut with the fade on her right side being scaly, which is just a cute small detail I think is neat. Comparing her final look to her concept design, however, I do enjoy what we got, but I wish some things stuck. Like the overall more white and navy blue look with gold and purple pop-outs of color, and the gold highlights and snakes on her gloves that could have matched with her boots. And while I do think the concept dress looks more elegant, I think the look we got is still very regal. Medusa is a really good bar to set the standard for what a depiction of what a myth should look like realized, with her overall look being a good representation of what she's all about, with her design having no particular bad things about it. Poseidon is a silly guy that I'd ask for help on how to get into shape at the gym, and he'd become one of my most cherished friends I would want to die for. His design is a very unique case, as they decided to turn him into a Slurp series skin, arguably making him the most unique version of the sea god out there, which makes his design really good. He doesn't have any complaints from me, and most complaints from others probably fall under being subjective or even nitpicky, although I have one personal complaint, and that is his shorts. I fully understand why he wears shorts. However, there is such a simple solution to that problem, that being, you just don't have to give him anything down there at all, because by giving him shorts, that you are explicitly implying that there is something down there. Where if you instead give him nothing down there, that solves the whole original issue. Sorry, went on a bit of a tangent. Overall, Poseidon in my opinion is the most unique iteration of the sea god probably out there, and is very cute and silly looking in my opinion, and I love him for that. Cerberus looks really cool and meets all my expectations. Cerberus as a design is really good and meets most of the marks of what a Greek myth should feel like as a skin, with a body that radiates ethereal flames all over from head to toe. He features all three heads in a very unique way, with his main head being accompanied by two others on his shoulders, a smart way to keep the most well-known feature of the legendary beast. His clothes even have these neat gold bits that separate parts of the design and don't let the main colors become a big blob. And I don't even have that much gripes with the design, and most of the complaints about Cerberus that I've seen, which I've barely seen any, are mostly subjective. Even the concept art isn't that different from the final version, with the only difference being the overall build, but that's really all. I know whoever came up with this design of the ever so loyal guard dog of the underworld was very good at what they do, and they knew that they struck gold with this design, with Cerberus having one of the objectively best designs in the Greek set, with no complaints and hits the mark perfectly. I love Persephone, she's my favorite Greek goddess, and that makes me biased as hell, because her design by my standards is objectively bad, but I still enjoy it a lot personally. I find her color scheme neat because of the fact that it's purple, black, and silver contrasting Hades' green, black, and gold, along with other small things like her crown being black or the ribcage on her upper body being silver, with her right hand having a similar underworldian look similar to Hades, showing that while she wasn't born there, but she's at least been here long enough to where the environment is reflecting on her physical body. And her hair color is gorgeous, being this prismatic color, and I love the way it looks so much. Along with her little cute charms like the bow with a skull on it and the eye keychain on the back. With my last good thought on Persephone's design being that it's a very unique look for her, because most depictions of Persephone in media is just her in a dress, and that's mostly all. Although the way she looks is also one of her greatest weaknesses, because she doesn't feel godly while looking at her. With her status as the goddess of the underworld and goddess of the harvest and vegetation, you think there'd be more to her look than just a hoodie and short shorts. And like some skins, Persephone has concept art, sure, but there's not too much difference between the both of them. But I think there are some small things that could have stuck on the final version, like her face markings and what I think are blacked out eyes, but I'm not too sure if those are. Either way, I wish they kept it because it very much would have added to her design in my opinion, but I think there's a very big critique to the overall concept of the skin, that being that she lacks any elements of plants or nature in her design. Persephone is most known for being the goddess of the underworld, sure, but that doesn't mean her being the goddess of nature and vegetation is sidelined, because the only other depiction I've seen at those elements to her look was in the Hades series, with plants in her hair and a basket of fruits and veggies. So for my favorite Greek goddess, while I personally enjoy her design for what it is, I think there very much could have been more done to expand on it and make it better. Hades looks really good, but kinda basic to be honest. Okay, don't get me wrong, I love what they do with his design, like his weird sharp skeletal fingers and pattern and imagery on him. His crown, for example, is gold but has these black accents on it and looks almost like a hand reaching up trying to grab onto something. And I think the gas mask look for his face adds a unique touch because it adds to the detail that he isn't the god of death, but the god and ruler of the underworld acting as its keeper. But other than that, his design is kinda meh. Even his color scheme is weird. It's this black cloak with a soul green popping out, with gold highlighting certain parts, but dark blue on the inner design. Which doesn't look bad, but takes away from the regalness that an all black sort of look would have had. So yeah, Hades' design has some notable things about it that make it stand out, but other than that, it's kinda basic otherwise. However, Hades' immortal form completely elevates the design by taking every critique and shoving it. His inner clothes are more darker, practically black, matching the overall design and dropping an out-of-place color. Parts of his body even take this more ethereal soul green color and enhances blank parts of the design, like his shoulders and his hands, with the lower end of his coat now becoming these ethereal soul color as well that gives him a higher status. With his face card also being elevated by making the gold of the mask to this obsidian black so his piercing green glowing eyes pop out more. And his crown ditching the almost hand look but becoming a more traditional complete regal crown. Overall, Hades' immortal form feels like a way more fitting look for the god and king of the underworld. If there's a standard of what a myth should look like, then Artemis passes it with flying colors. They make Artemis' design very good looking, capturing her well-known bow and arrow hunter aesthetic to a T, along with her lunar deity side being portrayed nicely with a starry night sky being sported all over her design, literally from head to toe, with her hair being this starry night sky along with having this wild and free looking style, along with these wedged boots that would work in any environment, showing that she's ready for any adventure. You can tell Artemis has a really good look, just because of the fact of if you compare her to the concept design, it's no contest because the final design blows the concept out of the water. Overall, Artemis has what feels like a perfect design, representing everything about the goddess of the hunt while feeling gaudy in look and vibes, and earns a spot among the best designed Greek myth skins. It's time for the design everyone points out as the worst skin design fumble that is completely outshined by the concept. Look, Aphrodite doesn't have a very bad look per se, but it's a very generic look, with the only eye-striking details being the gold sprinkled throughout the design, with hearts sprinkled on her belt straps, and the heart on her jacket's collar. And that's it! That's all the good things about her design I can point out. Don't get me wrong, if you enjoyed this design, good for you. I'm glad you can enjoy it. It's just that when you're comparing it to this look, it's practically night and day. The concept design does so many things better than the final look, like the gold being a whole underdress, the white being this intricate design robe with gold highlights and lining with this inner gold color seen on the tails of the robe, even making the red heart stand out way more on the shoulder collar, with it even glowing, making it way more eye-catching, along with small details like the gold hearts on the belt strap still being there, and these gold feather accessories in her hair and on her thigh. However, while the concept look completely outshines the final look, there is a saving grace, and that's Aphrodite's immortal variant. This variant is completely different from the base look of the Goddess of Love, and it does a lot of things right in its look. The dress taking the look of the concept version and making it have this almost flowery look with the magenta and blue color scheme, with her skin taking on this pink color, making her a more ethereal looking being, with her face not being lost at all since her hair has gotten way longer and features a glowing yellow undercolor to highlight her face, with glowing yellow eyes as well, making Aphrodite's immortal variant the vastly superior look of the skin. Taking into account that the immortal look is practically carrying the overall design of Aphrodite, it only scores so high, being held back by the almost nothing burger that is the base look. Zeus! I'm here to talk about how you look like shit! I think Zeus has two good points about him. One, his face card looks good, and second is that the details on his armor is a nice touch. Other than that though, I have no other good thing to say about this guy. Why does he have camo pants? It doesn't make sense. And neither does the grenade and shotgun ammo. Of all the other Greek skins, the only other ones with visible weapons is Midas, who has his whole Fortnite original story, so that's his pass, and Ares, the god of war, so he also gets a pass. So why does Zeus have anything? It doesn't add anything, I promise you. If anything, it makes him look weaker. Nothing showing off his lightning aesthetic other than the detail in his armor, or nothing to make him feel powerful or a big deal. He's meant to be this big head honko, but he don't feel like it, that's for damn sure. His color scheme doesn't even seem that good, with the dark colors not matching and seeming out of place among all the gold bits. At least the white color variant fixes that by making the color scheme an all white sort of look with gold highlights, but my other points still stand. Zeus is the god of thunder, ruler of Olympus, god of the gods, but this Fortnite design feels like a retired veteran being called back to the battlefield, and not in a good way.